Get the rock-solid support you need with an integrated jumbo-size wrist rest. An innovative smudge-proof surface gives you a sleek, glossy look with no fingerprints left behind. Over 500 programmable macros and 3 thumbster keys. Fueled by up to 2 32-bit ARM Cortex processors and a powerful 2 megabytes of flash memory, the Rocket Rios Mechanical Gaming Keyboard Series.
Starladder falls! Liquid's doing it! They're gonna take! He's gonna bring down Birdie! Alone with a double kill! Dropping fast! Mana points there! He's still alive! Wait, Check slide! He's got one side! He's got a second! He's taking it! Oh my god! On 3! They're all dead!
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Starladder Southeast Asian coverage. We had a funky start today. I woke up thinking we had 3 games, and I was sort of loosely, happily surprised that the first game was postponed. So we are going to get started with Johnny's Revenge versus Arrow Gaming for our first match of the day. I'm Zyori, joined remotely by Blaze. What's up, Blaze? How are you feeling? Seems like you got the memo a little earlier and got an extra hour of sleep tonight.
Well, I woke up just in case because there were a couple, like the Starladder side didn't say it, the change until a little bit later. But even still, I got an extra hour and I'm pretty happy about it, getting to be a little bit more awake and aware for this awesome matchup here. So we're going to be looking at Johnny's Revenge going up against Arrow. And right now it doesn't look like we have any real stand-ins. So that's pretty awesome. We're going to see the full strength Johnny back in it. And yeah, Arrow, they do have Metelu on their roster, but of course... yeah, he's not unofficially their stand-in, so I would have to say that they're looking pretty good right now. We saw DDZ Tinker yesterday, and that didn't work out as well as they intended it to. Maybe they'll be able to open up greater doors with him with their full-strength roster here. Lance is going to be playing on the carry role, and might pick up one of the 2 heroes that we already see on the board, the Wraith King, the Razor, and man, I am just excited about this game.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. Let's check the bets. Let's see. I always like looking at the numbers. I like to know what the fans are thinking. And okay, 60-40 Johnny's Revenge. And it's always a little different when you have a team named like Johnny's Revenge that is a brand new roster and that branding isn't there. It always makes the bets a little more interesting. But 60-40, I could see it. Johnny's Revenge have been playing pretty darn well recently. Yesterday we were just commenting on the amazing... Chibi Void, he had, I think, the luckiest streak of backtracks I have ever had the good graces of witnessing. It was pretty redonkulous. We won't see it again here as he's been banned out, but maybe Lady Luck will be with Johnny's Revenge once again today.
That was absolutely insane. There were, I think, 7 or 8 different instances of damage. It was everything from like Centaurs and Rubiks and Abaddons and Razors, all these instances of damage that just didn't take effect at all, and it almost showed how broken RNG can be at the inappropriate moments. But yeah, in this case, we're not going to be seeing that volatility being put into play. There will still be some RNG heroes, but for the most part, it's stable. We have the Doom, who's going to be able to negate a lot of most of a hero. Like his main thing is the ultimate, which counteracts just the main aspects of many heroes. But I have to say that Wraith King and Razor are in my top 2, or at least 2 of my top 3 for heroes that just don't care if they're doomed. If Wraith King has his ultimate available, he's going to be coming back up for a good second life anyways. So although it does negate his lifesteal and crit, it's not going to take him completely out of the fight. And then Razor, if he just gets his spells off, primarily the Static Link, also the Eye of the Storm, he is completely unaffected by it as well. So I would have to say that it's a pretty good pickup here against the Doom opener, and that they're in a pretty good position to just kind of control fights whether or not they are afflicted.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm actually playing around with some of our stats tools here. I've got the Arrow Gaming general stats that we have on record and some of their hero win rates. So keep an eye on the right side of your screen, folks. We're playing with all the production value today. Oh, boy. Let's see what Johnny's Revenge are up to. But both teams slowing down a little bit as we move into the second banning couplet. And, well, Shadow Shaman the second pick for Johnny's Revenge. Really no big surprise there. SEA, man, they love themselves some Shadow Shaman. I swear to God, 100% win, or not win, pick ban rate in SEA so far in Starladder. I think we've seen him in some capacity in every single game.
Yeah, people love this hero and love to do a lot of things with it. I mean, it just gives you so much momentum when you use his skills actually to the effect and the intention that they're really there for. The banding phase is going to come through with Rubik and Ancient Apparition taken out. This is pretty interesting because I guess they don't obviously want the Doom spell stolen, but the Ancient Apparition, we talked about this a lot with the Wraith King, the potential to synergize their primary skills there to get the disables off. And yeah, we haven't really seen it take effect in full, but it's just one of those heroes where you get hit up when you're trying to scorch earth and try to sustain, and you're just taking down instead. That's going to be problematic, and of course they're going to be. Actually, who did get first pick out of this one?
I'm going to be honest. I was looking at all the production stuff without having. I'm not sure.
So it was JR, so they're going to be getting the first pick on the side of Arrow, and yeah, they can pick up just about whatever they want. They're going to go with Xiangzai's Centaur though, and that's a pretty good pick.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen him play the Centaur quite a bit. We've seen the power that he brings to the field with that global presence for both initiation as well as counter initiation, and even the great escapes across the map. He plays a pretty mean Centaur, and it just seems to be one of the offlaners that they go to. This is also one of the first games where we've seen Winter's Tidehunter banned out. He's been left in the pool quite a bit, and first or second pick, so here we'll have to see Winter play something else. So far, since he's been on Johnny's Revenge, it's been primarily Tide and Mirana that have fallen under his arsenal, but could this possibly be a Winter offlane Doom, or would that just be too ridiculous?
It's definitely possible. I think they're less inclined in that direction than a lot of other offlane type heroes, but with all of them taken off the board, the Bat Rider, the Tidehunter, they have to make their choices. I mean, even Faceless Void's been taken out if you consider him an offlaner to some degree. So, yeah, it's a tough decision no matter how you look at it. You are on the Radiant offlane, so you're a little bit more flexible as far as, oh, am I going to get the experience I need, so on and so forth. But, yeah, we definitely could see the Doom play that role, and they could just kind of focus the farm on some other hero so that we could see more plays from Chibi in the near future. But first and foremost, they're going to get their solo mid taken care of. The Invoker is going to be here in the hands of Achin, a.k.a. Polo-san, and there's going to be a lot of potential there. I believe in an Exhort mindset here. With the Shadow Shaman Shackles, you get so much setup for the Sunstrikes, and yeah, you really are going to have to emphasize some real damage output. I mean, the Wex is pretty good for disarming if you can get the Deafening Blast on multiple heroes, but beyond that, I don't know if you're really confident that your mana burn is going to be enough to bring down Wraith King in full. Like, you have to completely drain out his mana, and his intelligence gain isn't too bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really too keen on the mana burn Wraith King strat for one real reason. Soul Ring just completely counters it. If he's really suffering that much from mana burn, he can always just pick up a cheap little Soul Ring and pop it right before he dies, and almost always he'll be able to get off the ultimate. Magic Wand, same sort of a story, although it gives you a little bit of health back, so that one can be a little more tricky, but there are tools for Wraith King to deal with it, and I just don't think that's an effective strategy worth putting too many resources into. But the Exort also makes sense as, here we go, a pushing strat coming out for Johnny's Revenge. They'll grab Enchantress, and I think they'll want those Forged Spirits to synergize with some towers getting taken down.
Yeah, this is definitely well within Johnny and Sharky's comfort zones. Shadow Shaman and the Chen Enchantress are really the signature pickups for these two, Sharky and Johnny respectively. So, yeah, I think that they're going to be able to gain a huge amount of momentum behind this. They might be a little bit greedy for creeps because right now I see multiple heroes that could go for Hand of Midas. And obviously Doom has his Devour, Enchantress has her Enchant. I can see a position where they go into their jungle, and the second they hit it, they're like arguing over who's actually going to be able to pick up the big juicy neutrals because, yeah, they can take a huge advantage of their abilities, or they could just slay them for their gold. It's really got to be distributed evenly amongst the team if they're going to be able to see their abilities take full effect.
Absolutely. Now, Klink's the fourth pick for Arrow, and that's the big outlier here. We have seen almost no Klinks play. I think since you and I have been covering SEA games post TI4, we've seen maybe one game with Klinks. Talk to us here. We've seen Arrow a bit, and this is definitely a different strategy than what they've been employing in recent days of Starladder.
Yeah, Klinks is a pretty awesome hero. I've been facing him a lot in pubs recently, but as far as like what he brings to a competitive team lineup, it's a little bit different. One thing is that Strafe is one of the few spells that you can cast and make yourself a lot better off against Untouchable. So if you're trying to kill off the Enchantress, taking down a low armor hero by negating the attack speed reduction to a degree it's really important. Untouchable at max is 120, and Strafe at all ranks is 130, so you do get to, you have that little extra edge, and you can put a lot of damage in there. The one thing he obviously lacks is counter push, which is quite unfortunate, but when it just comes down to it, you're looking to snipe people, you're looking to just pick up an Orchid and kill off the Shadow Shaman Enchantress a dozen times, maybe the Invoker, add him to the list, because without his spells, he's pretty vulnerable as well. So early Orchid Rush, they'll probably still put him in...
10 seconds.
Actually, I'm not sure how they're going to run this one. If they're going to run it in the safe lane and leave the Razor mid, I think that's probable, because they probably feel more confident in the Razor versus Invoker matchup. But Clinks might have his own variance of skill level there, where he can apply with that huge physical damage up with the Searing Arrows. He might be able to actually out-CS. So wherever they end up putting him, he's going to want farm momentum so he can get the Orchid up early, and from there he is just a gank train.
The gank train, yes indeed. So looking at the stats for Johnny's Revenge is pretty interesting. Their year stats is all of their matches have been in recent days. Their top heroes, Invoker and Tidehunter. I think that comes as a surprise to no one, but here we'll see the clockwork for the offlaner. So it will be more of a core Doom than an offlaner, and I guess he'll get some safe lane farm here. We'll most likely see Winter hit the offlane with Mr. Clockwork, and of course Invoker will be headed to the mid lane. So, well, looks like a fairly straightforward draft for Johnny's Revenge. Yeah, that'll be the Chibi Doom there.
Yeah, I actually didn't take note of the last ban for Arrow, but I think Clockwork would have been actually a smart ban.
I believe it was Morphling.
Okay, so they read the draft a little bit differently. They thought Winter might be on the Doom as well, but knowing if it wasn't going to be the Doom, Clockwork is like one of the few other heroes that Winter likes to play. So in this case, the Clockwork's really good. You can kind of hem in the Clinks, and as long as you have some detection on your clock, some dust, you should be able to cause him a large amount of grief, and then, of course, you can interrupt channel defects like the Witch Doctor's ultimate, so that's pretty good. I actually like the clock here because it also deals with chunk size Stampede pretty well, and overall, he's just a really cool hero to spectate.
Yes,
it
indeed.
It is going to be the Bone Fletcher, played by Lance, so hard carry Clinks. It's kind of the style that we used to see from CIS Dota about like 6 to 8 months ago, and it is just as high momentum, very active, kill-oriented hero that can have a large amount of potential if he picks up the Orchid, maybe BKB, maybe even a Blink Dagger.
Yes, absolutely right. Clinks is a very snowbally hero, and you'll see games where if he gets a lot of farm and then maybe a couple of early kills, catches someone off guard with all that extra death pack damage when he hits level 6, it can get scary. And if he gets a fast Orchid, like pre-15 minutes, some ridiculous timing, it gets really scary very quickly. But he's also one of those heroes that without that momentum is not quite so scary either. This is an interesting Clink set here, all commons, but he looks pretty badass. This must be an older set. I have not seen this one.
Yeah, he only has actually like a couple of sets. He doesn't really have that many at his disposal, but this is like one of the first ones. If it's not the first one, it's definitely the second. And yeah, we see some dewarding in the jungle. Nothing really as far as activity goes, so might as well review the cosmetics and see what each one of these guys has. But yeah, the Clinks is going old school, and yeah, nobody else.
I like to keep everybody up to date with what's going on in the cosmetic scene. It comes in handy sometimes. There are some crazy cosmetics out there, but alas, only 2 games today, guys, and this is our first Arrow versus Johnny's Revenge. Arrow, we're not tagged up, and there is still no ticket. I keep getting PMs about, where's the bundle? Where's the bundle? I don't know. As soon as the patch comes out, we will have the bundle. We've got the promo video. We'll be rolling it, and you guys can get all those beautiful rewards. These games will be appropriately ticketed and replayed. But we're on Valve time, folks. Not much we can do about it. Everything's been submitted, and we're cooling our heels, as it were. You mentioned the Clockwork in this game working well against the Witch Doctor, and I absolutely agree with you. And I actually like the Clockwork against Clinks because even if he goes invisible, you can still kind of lock him in place, and that is some setup for Rasta or pardon me, the Invoker to get in and, you know, maybe drop a meatball on his face or even just throw a Sunstrike in there because you have a pretty good idea of where he is. So it just gives you an extra tool to deal with that speedy invisibility hero, even if you don't have a dust handy in the early stages of the game. And there's some hyper aggression. We will see Johnny's Revenge start off in the dire jungle with their 2 supports, both Sharky and who is this? Bell, is
Johnny.
that a proper tag?
On the left side, Johnny. He hearts Bell Sales.
Oh, that's Johnny. Oh, God. I'm an idiot. I'm so sorry. I was reading the Johnny, like, yes, he's on Johnny's team, but who is he? Here we'll see in the mid lane initiation on the DDZ. Sharky takes a Wraithfire Blast. Plasma Field doing some damage, but DDZ in huge trouble here. The War Stop from the Centaur, just too damn much. and that will draw the first blood. It goes the way of Johnny himself. Mosin chasing down Sharky on the Shadow Shaman. Can he secure the kill? Wraithfire Blast, not enough mana for it. There's the turn for the Shackle. Out comes the Paralyzing Cask. It'll be a 1-for-1, but now Mosin's the one on the run. Johnny will fall to the Plasma Field. Chin, Polisson, he's in for it. He wants Mosin, and he will find it. It's a 2-for-2, but it looks like soon to be a 2-for-3. He's going for the Ancient Deny. He will not find it. Razor, he picks up that kill. It's a double for DDZ. TP to the mid tower from Sharky, but won't be able to do anything to keep his mid Invoker alive.
Interesting decision making from DDZ there. Essentially, the first blood and his initial death, for all intents and purposes, was intentional. Down on bottom lane, I'll get into that in a second, but down on bottom lane, yeah, Winter's going to be forcing back Xiangzai and being effective there. But yeah, DDZ on the mid lane, he took a lot more auto attacks than he needed to. He was standing and fighting. He was just trying to get as much damage as possible and to respawn very quickly. And it's an interesting decision to make, but that's what they went with. And the reason I say it's intentional is you look at the Observer wards on the Dire. They saw the movement coming in from the Shadow Shaman and the Enchantress. He used himself as bait. The Wraith King came in. They were hoping that they would actually dive onto the tower a little bit, but when that didn't happen, he just kind of stood his ground, fought it out, and as soon as he died, he came right back into it. In the end, it's a 3-for-2 in their favor, even though they lost the first blood. Down on bottom, though, we are going to see some damage fly out. Wraith King has another stun, but they're not really willing to commit onto Winter here. So
I'm a little surprised to see they don't commit for that. There's a double edge available, and even though Zhang Zai would take a lot of damage in return, if you get the kill, it really doesn't matter all that much. That could have been a dead Winter right there, but Arrow will give him a free pass. I guess without eyes on the jungle, they don't know how close the supports are. Sharky could be right around the corner looking to make a turn and finish off the Centaur if he goes full double edge. So
those cogs too.
Yeah.
Wraith King's completely out of mana now. 2 bounces, and yeah, that's another great defensive tool, even against, especially against melee heroes. Actually, they really can't close in on him. If he sees the projectile coming of the Wraithfire Blast, then he'll just pop the cogs, and that should be enough to nullify it.
Yep, very good point. Let's check in up to the top lane, see how old Quinky Winky's doing. Lance is our last hit leader, sitting 16-3 right now, and farming quite well against Chibi on the Doom. He is in the solo offlane role, but still finding a pretty good amount of farm, given that he is completely solo. He was lucky enough to devour a Satyr Tormentor, and he has that beautiful Unholy Aura. So great for the Doom. Shockwave is not quite spammable, but it's one of the usable spells at 100 mana. Down bottom, we'll see Zhang Zai get initiated on. Sunstrike will fly through as the Shackles connect. Cogs to trap him in, and that will be a dead Centaur. That will level it out 3-3 as Johnny's Revenge, well, live up to their name and find some vengeance here in the bottom lane.
Yep. So right now it's going to be Rune Control on the northern spawn with the side of Arrow, and when that unfortunately spawning down on the bottom, it's going to be an Invisirine snatched up actually by Sharky here. So a lot of kill potential with an invisible Shadow Shaman, but we'll see if he actually uses it just to go in and push, or if he's actually going to try to fight. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be flanking onto Xiangzai. But speaking of, down on top lane, it is going to be Chibi pursued into the trees.
Yeah, trying to work the magic here in the trees. Shitty Wizard comes flying through and almost gets caught, but he'll be okay. Scorched Earth buys Doom plenty of time, and he'll just run straight through the jungle. Takes a few Searing Arrows, the trees are down, and he will just walk around to safety. Of course, as we're watching him make the escape down bottom, we miss a kill onto the Centaur. They find a return kill on the Clockwork, so it is a 1-for-1. And I have a theory of mutual destruction down here, though it looks like Johnny's Revenge will at least be able to get a lot of damage on this tower. Chibi still not completely done with the chase. Mosin will find him, but doesn't even waste the mana on a stun. And Chibi's fancy footwork will pay off.
Down on the bottom lane, Sharky gets hit by both spells of the Centaur Warrunner. And Materu does go and TP in, but really unnecessary.
Chibi, or pardon me, Chin, he takes a stun and will take a static link, and Razor will finish him off with a straight Plasma Field. Winter comes in, traps him in the cogs, and again they'll make it a 1-for-1. Both mid heroes will fall, and now Winter, he wants to go for it. Hook shot at point blank onto Mosin. And he has the Battery Assault channeling, but it's just not enough. Channeling is not the appropriate word there, but has it turned on and just can't bring down old Wraith King. Mosin will turn and throw a stun before he heads back to the well, but alas, he will survive, and it seems to be a pretty even spread so far. Winter now taking a couple of bounces on that cask in the mid lane, but again, no follow-up damage. Witch Doctor has found a fair bit of experience this game, though, almost level 5. Actually, all of the supports are pretty active. 6 minutes in, all tied at level 4.
Yeah, throwing experience back and forth because of all these kills, you're not going to see anybody that's completely broke this game. They're going to be a lot of momentum swings for those that are coming out on top the most. Obviously, Clinks and Razor have been farming very effectively as well. But yeah, we are going to see attempt on Winter's Life, not going to work out, though. That's a lot of mana to burn. This hoof stomp from the Centaur War Runner costing 130 in full. But yeah, to kind of even up the kill score a little bit, one of the things is that the death of Winter on the bottom lane, nobody was in experience range for that, even though it was a pretty big kill. And then also the First Blood went the way of JR. So right now, even though it's 5 for 6, I'd consider the kill score relatively even.
Yeah. Certainly agreed, and in fact, Johnny's Revenge have a small lead of about 300 gold, 300 experience, and up top, as I'm looking at the graphs, I'll catch the tail end of Doom getting cut off. So many rotations early on. It's a bloodbath to get things started, but Arrow are actually finding pretty decent creep CS right now, and most notably the Clinks. He's still the leader, and after that, there's a big drop-off. Doom has the most last hits on the side of JR with only 23, and Winter, who had some safe lane farm 1v1 against the Centaur, really struggling to find last hits. Only 5 behind the Centaur, but in the context of a safe lane farmer, JR are really lacking, and this Clinks is very quickly running out of control. He's going to pick up Phase Boots now, Soul Ring, and has the Basilius to start chipping at these towers.
And this is going to be some really good push coming in from Lance. He's got the mana sustain to do Searing Arrows for the most part, and he's going to be able to last at the tower here. Actually, Witch Doctor gets the last little bit there, but in either case, Clinks can, with the Basilius, push down things quite effectively, and they do have some general sustain for him with that Soul Ring too. So every time he Soul Rings, he can Death Pact, and that'll continuously infuse him with the health that he just lost.
Yeah. Now, how about Phase Boots on Clinks? I think more often than not, you'll see Power Treads come out, but any thought about Phase Boots in particular on the Bone Fletcher?
I would have to say that it's just what players are comfortable with as far as the last hitting damage for denies in particular. Okay, bottom lane's going to go down. The last hit going to go to the Shadow
nice
Shaman.
And a hook shot from around the side. The Shackle to set it up. Even a Sunstrike will fly through. They'll find a kill on Zhang Zai and a tower. Shadow Shaman gets the last hit on it. And JR will be happy with that exchange as they get a nice little gold boost. But in the mid lane, Chin possibly in trouble. They don't have any way to lock him down. He'll be on the run, but they don't need it. They've got the burst. And the Plasma Field will bring him down as DDZ gets another one up on the scoreboard. Now back down to the bottom lane. MTR, he will keep himself alive thanks to that Voodoo Restoration, but roster wards come down, and Voodoo Restoration won't do much to keep this Tier 2 tower alive. A TP does come in. Nature's Attendant's already out. Winter with some power cogs come down to try and split things out, but Big Brad's here. He's got the Stampede and a double edge to bring down Winter. And the Tier 2 tower, will it stay standing? Nope. Wards will bring it down. The deny, not happening. Zhang Zai just not in the right position.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate. They really needed to get some denies on the field, but even with no real heroes afflicting the tower, it's still going to go down to the wards. And yeah, this is just continuing this very active game. A lot more gold behind them now as they take down the Tier 2. That means that we're just going to see them more confident going into the next engagements. But in a game of activity, we see Doom is actually taking a passive role here. Chibi is going for Hand of Midas and Max Devour. He's going to be the one that just doesn't contribute all that much for some time. And given the tempo of the game we've seen so far, that might be to their detriment significantly. Like, obviously, if it goes late, then they're pretty happy about it. But we are going to see Polisson Ghost walk away, and Lance is going to be inside the cogs, caught in the Sunstrike.
Yep, and that's that synergy right there. The Clockwork and the Invoker, so useful in a situation like that. Clinks is a very speedy hero, especially with the Phase Boots, and locking him in place like that, well, just makes it an easy turnaround. Nicely played by the Invoker as well. Clutch little ghost walk there to make it out in time. So 7-9, JR will kill the position 1, a much-needed kill on the Clinks as he is #1 on net worth, and that will put a dent in his farm. Not only do they have a Midas on Doom, but there's also a Midas on the Invoker. Much more standard on the Exort side of things. We've talked about it quite a bit in past matches, but double Midas will certainly limit the amount of aggressive potential JR can put out in the early moments here. Sharky, however, has picked up a very early Blink Dagger on this Shadow Shaman here just after the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, getting that Tier 2 tower was what enabled him to pick this up at this stage. I mean, the kills and assists obviously help, but that Tier 2 is major gold income that's going to allow him to initiate in the near future with that Blink Hex. And yeah, they can even go for some ward traps and things like that because they have control. They don't really need the wards to kill towers when they've already taken down the 2 big ones. But in either case, we're going to see a group up here from the side of Arrow. They're going to try to find some kills once more, get some sentries down so they feel safe smoking in this area, and away they go. The Clinks will be joining them for this one, I believe, and yeah, they are going to go right on in to try to find some kills.
Yeah, DDZ is off to the side here, ready to move into the jungle to initiate. There's your Stampede forward. Mosin throws the stun out onto Johnny, and Johnny will be the first to go down. Attendance won't be enough to save him. Doom throws the ultimate onto DDZ. Now Sharky, isolated, will get the wards down, but in comes Winter. Huge set of cogs. Connects with 3 as the meatball flies through. That'll be enough to finish off the Razor, but it does a hell of a lot of damage. Mosin will get picked off as well as the Centaur. He's coming back up from the reincarnation. Lance will come in, and oh, it looks like Arrow can clean house. That'll be the end of the Invoker. Chibi will try to TP home. Is there a cask? There certainly is not, but it will be a 2-for-4 exchange as our Dire side get the better of it. Stampede proves an effective initiation.
Extremely effective. That was incredible, the amount of damage they were able to put out. The Witch Doctor got a full channel on his Death Ward, and other than a brief time where the opponents were just in the air, he was actually able to get the full duration channel, constantly dealing damage, and that was extremely impactful. The Death Ward really earned its money there, and the cogs actually proved to be to their detriment just by a little bit because they were caught inside the cogs, inside the Death Ward's range, and that was brutal. Yeah. Witch Doctor is a hero that he's really hit or miss as far as his early teamfight contributions, but in that case he was positioned appropriately and they were able to net some really good kills on the Wraith King's respawn.
He wanted the invisibility runes so bad and he decided to commit for it, and alas, he will walk right into 3. Actually almost finds a counter kill onto Sharky, but they bring him down and they get the rune. It does end up inside of Winter's bottle, so a bit of a misplay there from DDZ. The greed was too much.
Yeah, definitely. That's setting them back significantly as the Tier 1 push comes through. They got the Hellbear, the Forge Spirits. They're all going to bring this tower down to half very quickly, and it's going to be on the side of Arrow to respond. They do have multiple Link Daggers now, the Centaur as well as the Wraith King, and they're going to try to find their opening, but even still, without the mech, they have to be cautious about how they engage.
Yeah, Winter goes up to the high ground, scouts out the Centaur. Of course, has the invisibility rune on and does choose to initiate. Sharky hops over, uses the Hex. Now the Shackles come out. Winter will be in some trouble again. The ward comes down, but the cogs trapping them. It's a double-edged sword. Winter and Sharky get obliterated by MTR. Sure, they lose the Centaur, but it's a 1-for-2. And that Witch Doctor, he was doing more than a dance. Look at it go and look at him die. Mosin, he'll hop forward. No ultimate here. He takes the Doom ultimate, and that was just a bit ambitious. A nice deny comes out from MTR, back-to-back big plays. Not the most difficult of denies, but still nicely executed. Willand is a 2-for-2. A pretty unnecessary death for Mosin, but still a pretty impressive display of Death Ward action.
Yeah, he is on point with both of them right now, and I think that is half on him and half on JR, the fact that they haven't really been committing to counteracting it. When you have a Clockwork, you have a hero that can close in on him pretty easily, but they've been initiating elsewhere, and they've been giving him the opportunities. So you got a good cask that just bounced like every single time it could on those 2 targets, just repeatedly and locking them in place. All he could do was cogs, and that ended up being to their detriment as well. They did bring down the Centaur, of course, and Wraith King did feed a deny away at least. So it's not all bad, but JR still want to really keep building momentum behind these Hands of Midas. We do see right now that Invoker is going to be building up into his Force Staff, and the Doom is banking 2,800 gold on top of his hand.
Yeah, he goes for the Tranquil Boots here, so might go into a little bit more of an Aura style. He's not going to be the mech carrier. It is Winter with the Buckler already, but we'll hold that thought as more initiation in the mid. Winter hops forward again with the cogs come out. This time the Meteor will be off the mark, and Ah Ching gets focused down. Death Ward channeling. MTR not getting interrupted. He will take a couple ward shots, but doing a lot of damage here. Brings down the Invoker as well as the Clockwork. Now it's Arrow being the aggressors again. Sharky will get picked off. Even the Courier falls. Oh my gosh. It is a bloody disaster for Johnny's Revenge. Arrow Gaming trade a 1-for-3, get the shitty wizard on top of it, and Johnny's Revenge, they need to find some way to deal with this Witch Doctor. I feel like Winter needs to not be the initiator straight up and sit back a little more and just think, where's that Witch Doctor? Where's the Death Ward? My priority is getting the Battery Assault on top of that bastard, because right now MTR is just straight up winning these team fights for the Dire side. His damage output is absurd.
Yeah, and this is pre-Aghanims, but he's just been every single time getting everything he wants out of these fights. Now they get the stun onto Johnny, but he's relatively untouchable and right outside his base. So yeah, in this position, they have like so many ways to deal with it. Like every hero has some way of stopping that channeled effect, assuming Johnny has one good creep. So yeah, I don't know why it's happening every fight, but he's positioning himself well, and they really aren't playing specifically against it. Like, they have the Force Staff now, they can throw... Oh, actually, they still don't have it, because the repeated deaths on Invoker, he'll have to get a little bit more CS and transmute once or twice, and he will finally have it. But I don't know. They really just need to worry about positioning a little bit more and keep eyes on that hero. Prioritize that disable
Yeah.
because it's one mini stun is the difference between a one fight and a lost one.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that is making it even worse now is Witch Doctor is 5-0-7. He's gotten a lot out of these last team fights. He already has the point booster Ogre Club and 600 gold in the bank. 1,400 short pieces of gold away before that epic 4-bounce Ag Scepter GG ultimate comes out. And we're only 16 minutes in. That's the scariest part, I think. Even if they start focusing the Witch Doctor a bit more now, some of the damage has been done. He's a lot tankier than he was, and before too long, as more towers fall, we'll see an Ag Scepter come out onto the field. Chibi appears to be going for a Shiva's. He's gone for the Mystic Staff, and it's not going to give him a hell of a lot right now in context of these upcoming skirmishes, but he will survive the onslaught. Even the Stampede used to try to initiate there, and Zhangzai won't be able to find him. Winter with a close hook shot, connects on the Centaur, again isolates him. The mech comes out, that'll buy him a little bit of time. The Death Ward again, MTR in the trees. This time he'll get focused down. The Deafening Blast and the Meatball Fly, but the Shadow Shaman Clockwork do get picked off. DDZ is doomed, he's on the run, and he will fall. That makes it a 2-for-2. And the rest of the fight may continue on as Lance pops his BKB. Rasta Ward still now clearing up creeps, and they'll focus down Chibi. He will survive for now as he moves into the trees, but nope, Johnny's going to be the target of choice. Wraithfire Blast, and they're just lacking the damage output. I don't think they'll bring him down. 3 points and untouchable. Oh, that Mosin attack animation. Yeah. Slow poke.
Well, not sure why Lance was just farming creeps during this time. He actually probably could have contributed to the kill on the Enchantress. But nevertheless, the team fights, they have a lot of momentum behind them, and it's relatively successful. Finally, JR really puts the emphasis they need to on the Witch Doctor. But
he
it
still
almost
got
feels
1,000
like
gold out of that. I mean,
yeah.
The Dire did lose their courier in that fight, which is something. But MTR is now 500 gold away from his Ags, and he was 1,500 to go just 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's still like, I mean, when you go into a 16 minutes of gameplay and you get 3 perfect death wards off, like, it's almost like you've already made your impact. Like, now they're going to start emphasizing him, but fool me once, twice, and thrice. Shame on JR, and that was, yeah, quite problematic. Now we see the Rocket Flare come out, canceling the urn. They know what's going on in the Roche pit, but I think they're just a little bit too far off to stop it. Winter's the one with the longest range, and he's got that hookshot rank 1, so they're still going to be afraid of it. They're going to back off. They, of course, only have 1 point in Vampiric Aura, and I guess we could analyze this Wraith King build a little bit, going for 4 points in stun, no points in crit, 1 point in aura, and that's all. And obviously, the first point is the value point as far as Vampiric Aura goes, and the stats could be very useful for just stunning repeatedly, but even still, they're going to go in.
Stampede, Earl, Stampede! We got a hook shot to try and interrupt it. Cogs come down, and that will do a lot of damage to proc the Wraith King's ultimate, but it will cost the Clockwork his life. It'll also cost the Shadow Shamans. He gets picks off to the side. The Doom ultimate flies onto Clinks. He's already left the fight. They bring down the Wraith King for the second time, and now it's just DDZ. He's on the run, Impetus flying through, but they just have no way to stop him. They'll rendezvous in the trees. MTR has to sustain 4 points. There's the ultimate, the Death Lord! It's living up to his name! Death on the Doom, death on the Clinks, and the Enchantress. Centaur will get picked off around the backside by Paulison. Do they have a sentry? Yeah, they sure do. And it will cost him his life. A 3-for-5 exchange. Godlike streak for MTR's Witch Doctor. A triple kill. That's more than enough for the Ag Scepter. And he is now almost level 13. 9-0-8. MTR, he is MVP this game. Wow.
Look at it fucking go, man. That's absolutely insane. Now he's got the Aghanim Scepter. 9 kills and 8 assists. 0 deaths. And he just now picked up the Aghanims. Like, holy shit, is this guy just perfect in his positioning and his timing of cooldowns? Like, he walks right up to a Doom who has a mini stun on an 8-second cooldown. Is like, I know you don't have it right now. I know I can kill you before it comes out. And just drops it down right in front of him, turning these fights around left and right. Metelu, MVP, and they can just go for the Roche.
Yeah, absolutely. Now they have a BKB out on DDZ's Razor following that fight. It is a 10-second BKB charge, and of course he picked up the mechanism. Has a Staff of Wizardry sitting in the bank at home. Maybe the beginnings of just an Ag Scepter or something a little bit different. We'll see what he ends up doing with that bad daddy. Now a crit out on Lance. He's had his BKB for quite some while. It's down to 7 seconds, and Centaur now working on his 4 staff. So these big core items are coming out. And we've already talked about the Ags on MTR there. This will secure Roche, and this time JR will not contest. Rocket Flare flies in, but they are not even close to being in a position to hop into the pit. Aegis of the Immortal goes the way of Razor. As we spoke the other day, a fact worth reiterating, Eye of the Storm transcends through the Aegis. So Razor is actually one of the best Aegis carriers you can hope for.
Yeah, definitely a very good hero to have it on at this stage in the game. Clink still likes to go YOLO as well, but for now he doesn't have to take too many risks to find his target. 1 second left on the TP scroll cooldown, but they're close enough with the Wraith King stun that this is a dead Chibi no matter what.
Yeah, he will pop his little speed there, and the Shiva's
stunned a
isn't
little
enough
early.
to keep him alive. Searing Arrows chipping him down. Mosin has a stun up in 2 seconds, so even if Chibi tries to TP, he should be able to interrupt it. No, Mosin goes the other way. Oh no, he gets totally juked, and Chibi, he will survive.
That was a bit of a gimme. They could have stayed on top of him a little bit
Shot
better.
mid
They
on
could have timed the stun.
DDZ, pops his BKB as the Sunstrike flies through. He'll actually just turn. He says, "You man up on me, friends. I will man up on you." And maybe too much so. BKB keeping him alive for now. Witch Doctor's inbound will bring in the sustain. Mech gets popped. Death Ward flies through only on Johnny. That's going to be a bit of a whiffed Death Ward. Not too much damage comes out. And Arrow really want to commit to this. They know there's an Aegis on DDZ, of course, and that will be enough for Arrow to... or pardon me, for Johnny's Revenge to kind of back out. Mosin blinks up to the high ground, finds Winter. Lance is nearby as well. They will have the Searing Arrows to bring him down. And the Johnny's Revenge offlaner will take a tumble. Ends is only a 1-0, which is not so bad. Johnny's Revenge minimized their losses there, as I think Arrow were hoping for a lot more.
Yeah, Matano didn't even really cast there to try to seal the deal with anything, but what it did accomplish is at least split everything up. Like, they were kind of in chaos. They were trying to avoid it. They were trying to get away from the major threats on the high ground. So they did split up to allow Winter to be picked off by the now very mobile Clinks, and that's good movement from them, but I don't know, I feel like they could have gotten a little bit more out of that. Nevertheless, they don't lose the Aegis, that's a big thing. DDZ got engaged upon, popped his 10-second BKB, but he is going to have that back off cooldown in just a quick moment. So here, he is farming up that Aghanim Scepter, and he is just about 1,300 gold off of that one. In the meantime, Lance, finding a full Daedalus, just needs the 500 gold to finish out the Demon Edge.
Yeah, absolutely. And, oh yeah, has the recipe already on the courier here, so that is really scary. Clinks is already hitting pretty hard, and it's just going to get worse from here. Zhang Zai gets initiated upon, and...
Sharky? They're pinging him. Like, what the hell, Sharky? Why not Shackles? I mean,
yeah, that was odd. It looked like he was about to get the animation off. Like, I thought I saw a little hint of yellow for a quarter of a second, and then he force-stabbed away and kind of disjointed it, but it didn't take the cooldown, so I'm not sure what happened there, if Sharky just misclicked or was a little slow on the uptake, but... Centaur's Force Staff will be enough to keep him alive, and he actually didn't have to use the ultimate there, so still has the Stampede ready to rock and roll. Not the longest cooldown, but not the shortest either, less 75 seconds at level 2. So Arrow will have that tool in their arsenal as they group up, and it appears they're ready to fight. They've got the Wraith King ulti available. He has a second point in the Vampiric Aura. What more do you need?
Well, you definitely want that
Daedalus, I guess.
Daedalus. Yeah, it's just a couple of creeps off here. It's on the Secret Shop now, so they're going to be able to pick it up, and that is going to be some huge damage output from the Clinks.
Yeah, and DDZ now very close to his Ag Scepter, just one piece away. And 800 gold off. He will pick up the point booster for some extra tankability. Winter will get caught once again. He finds a Haste Rune, he pops it, and they've got the stuns in the burst to bring him down. Not even max movement speed will save you from that. The Daedalus is out, and Lance is showing it off. He's critting like a madman. And they will press straight up the mid lane. There are still 2 outer towers remaining for Johnny's Revenge, tier 2 in the mid and bottom, both with a lot of hit points to spare. But at present, Arrow are all grouped up as 5 here in the mid lane. And
you know why they call it a Daedalus, Andrew?
Why do they call it a Daedalus? Because Bariza was copyrighted by Blizzard?
That too, but mostly because 1 crit and they dade.
That's a that's a good one. I like that. I like Dota jokes because they're all so lame.
Exactly. There's no way to get a good one out there, so you just gotta embrace your inner, I don't know, crappy pun master.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, the days of the Bariza. I remember when I first got that item in Diablo 2. I thought I was hot shit with my Amazon. Pearson arrows flying around. Oh, geez, those were the days. But we will see our dire side angle around this top tier 2 tower. And Johnny's Revenge, they're playing this very passive. They are just turtled up, ready to defend this tower. But honestly, I don't think they really want to take a fight. I think they'd rather try and fight inside their base if possible and just defend the high ground where they have an advantage. Invoker has now picked up a BKB, so Magic Immunity will be on the field for him. It is a fresh 10-second Black King bar there. Winter once again will get caught. Zhang Zai pops forward and even uses the Stampede for this. Now Mosin comes in. They'll hop right onto Johnny, and even the Untouchable won't be enough to keep him alive. They'll find Paulson in the trees. He almost brings down the Centaur. Make that does bring down the Centaur as the Forge Spirits click him down. There is a dire sentry on the high ground here, so even if he gets off a Ghost Walk, they might still have some kill potential. He moves into the trees. Do they have an interrupt? Mosin is there with the stun, and Achin, a.k.a. Paulson, he will fall, and it ends as a 1-for-3. Such a sloppy engage from Johnny's Revenge. They did pretty much no damage, less that of the Invoker on the Centaur, but both Johnny and Winter fell pretty handily.
Yeah, I mean, the Winter they started it off by picking off Winter, so I mean, it wasn't a fight that they intended to take at all because they didn't even have the Doom to really rally behind them. But yeah, it's just been a bit of a sloppy game all around. Like, obviously Era have still gotten the better of all the exchanges, but when I look at things that I want to comment on, like warding and all these other things, it just kind of feels like they're taking this game a little casually. And
it's a bloodbath, dude. It's definitely more about the hero kills than making the safe, top-notch plays, I think. We've just seen back-to-back fightings. We see Sharky just dive in the base. Look at this. DDZ will take it down with the Eye of the Storm. Winter hook shots across. DDZ taking tower shots. He does not have an Aegis anymore. He needs to be a little bit careful, but he's got a mech. He's got plenty of sustain. This time Lance will be the recipient of the Doom ultimate, and it might be enough for a kill. Yeah, they won't get the deny this time. It ends as a 1-for-2 exchange. JR looking for another angle to initiate, but without the Doom ultimate, this will be a bit more difficult. Death Ward was used in that last skirmish. It was interrupted, and now Chibi, he hops forward and will get punished. Johnny and Achin caught by a paralyzing cast. Even the ground curse comes out, and oh boy, it's looking rough for our Radiant side. Doom buys back, but now the Invoker falls. It's a 4v1 on the field, and Arrow will at the very least get this tier 3 tower, if not a lane of racks. And well, maybe even a tier 4, because tier 2s are still standing. It will be only one lane of racks in this push. Mosin takes a level death and some tower shots, but he's just a little too tanky. Sharky is now respawned, and well, they'll get a kill on the Centaur. Dire side hang around a little bit too long and get perhaps a bit cocky as tier 3 tower falls. They get the range racks. DDZ just focusing the structures as Winter once again pops forward, finds MTR, traps him in the cog. Rasta wards come down to secure the kill. The godlike streak for MTR goes the way of Sharky. And now DDZ, can he make the escape? He has the ultimate online, has a mech, but no mana for it. He'll actually chase down Sharky, who pops his Ghost Scepter, buys him a little bit of time, but DDZ will just chop him down. One more whip will bring him down, and he falls. DDZ now on the run. Chibi hits him with the Shivas, and they will not press out of the base. So name of the game after that tier 3 tower fall, I would say sloppy. Both sides just kind of running around. You saw Arrow, half of them go to the bottom lane, half of them stay in the mid, and that results in just a range racks following and giving JR the opportunity to stay in this game a few moments longer.
Yeah, I mean, in general, it's been not the most of optimal decision-making in general, like across the board, but it's been very active, very fun, and yeah, we do get to see, like, DDZ pretty much go in band mode there. It was practically 1v3 as Wraith King was purely on the defensive, and it's just showing how confident he is with this level of farm. 15,000 net worth, draining damage away from the Doom. It doesn't take long for his Static Link to pretty much nullify all of Chibi's damage, and from there, what do? You tank, but you really don't give.
Yeah, and Razor is now well on his way to a Refresher Orb. No big surprise there. It is an Oblivion Staff that has now appeared in the inventory, and Blinks will pick up a Blink Dagger, a little bit of that Eternal Envy coming out of MLG Columbus last year. It was the first time I saw the Blink Clinks. He wasn't the first ever to do it, but always and forever in my heart will I remember that. Lance will actually get hit by a Sunstrike, takes the Doom ultimate, but I'm not convinced they'll have enough for the kill here. Shiva's coming in. Yeah, actually they will. That's the level death. Chibi's just too damn fast with those cute little Tranquil Boots there, as well as the Scorched Earth. Nice kill on Lance. He was a little greedy farming in the Radiant jungle and was not able to use that shiny new Blink Dagger.
Nope, good Doom, and unfortunate that his Invis was dispelling, so he didn't have the move speed buff there.
No.
Mosin's going to get picked off as well. No reincarnate for 30 seconds, and in the Death Throes first, that is a quick stun, but that's a duo pickoff.
It sure is. The rest of our Dire team are all grouped up about the top lane. Again, this kind of split focus where you've got a couple pressuring towers, a couple just farming in enemy territory, and Mosin just kind of casually walking around the mid lane. We see DDZ pops the BKB, careful to focus Chibi so that he can't get an easy deny, uses the ultimate to secure the tower kill, and now they'll just focus Chibi hard. He will rendezvous with supports. Witch Doctor is near the plateau. This could be a huge ultimate if they can find it. Doom will fall to the Razor, and Johnny comes in. He is isolated off to the side, but DDZ doesn't have the damage to bring him down. Untouchable will prove effective here. Now blink forward from Zhang Zai, gets hexed straight away. MTR still around the backside. Where's that Death Ward? Indeed, he'll stand on the high ground, throws the cast, bounces around the creeps. That's the Death Ward we've been waiting for. Onto Winter, bouncing through, not enough for more than one kill, but finishes off Winter and completely zones out the forces of Johnny's Revenge, and will keep DDZ safe as he receives some of that slow and steady sustain of the Voodoo Restoration.
Man, I was hoping they would man up on DDZ just to see it go, just to see it bounce like crazy and see all that damage fly about. But not so fortunate. They're going to be able to back off, and they hold with 3. Now they get to go and reinitiate onto DDZ with the wards.
Yeah, Sharky flies forward, pops the ward straight away, but Invoker just hits him with a meteor. More than enough damage to bring down the Razor, and that's a 900 gold unstoppable streak going the way of Achin, a.k.a. Polison. So Johnny's Revenge, I don't want to say on their road to recovery, but making a hold for now, still at a 7,500 gold, 15,000 experience deficit. But they have the farming tools. Remember, they have the double hand of Midas. It is the Dire without the farming tools, and I don't know that they'll be able to turn this game around, but the longer they stay in it, I think kind of the better their chances are, less them losing multiple lanes of racks. That's now a BKB out on the Doombringer. Fresh set of magic immunity.
And with 5 racks still up, I'd say they're still in a position where they could turn this around. It's going to be slow going, given the number of kills that have come out on the side of Arrow. But yeah, if they can continuously just take advantage of this Midas. And one thing I'll mention is that, like, even when the Witch Doctor picks up this BKB, they still have quite a few disables that go through that. They have the Ensnare from the Dark Pearl Summoner, they have the Doom, and they also have the Hook Shot. So a lot of different ways to try to deal with it. Obviously, they have to be more precise about it, but even still. We do see Clinks.
Whoa,
okay.
Sharky, he jumps right into the pit. He'll pop his Ghost Scepter, and that'll buy him some time. Actually, Zhang Zai almost gets turned around upon. Now we'll see this fight break out on 2 legs. MTR takes the Doom off to the side. They do not want this Witch Doctor to get off an ultimate anytime soon. Chibi will be able to solo him down, and he will end up dying to the Wrath of Time. Meanwhile, in the pit, Zhang Zai will pop back in as Lance comes back to life. It will cost the Centaur's life, but they also finish off the Clockwork in exchange. It's a 1 for 2 so far, but now they'll hop onto the not the Alchemist, Shin's Invoker, and chase down Johnny. Mosin has a stun coming up in just 1 second. Will get fogged, but throws down an Observer Ward just to secure the vision, and now Johnny will get isolated. Blink forward, blink. Nice body blocking. He'll be forced to turn around. Cheeky play from Mosin there, and yet another Wraithfire Blast. Sorry, Johnny, but you won't live to tell the tale this time. Ends as a 3 for 2 exchange, but they did burn the Aegis, so not a bad little fight coming out of Johnny's Revenge. The Doom on the Witch Doctor, I think, well worth it in that scenario.
Yeah, the issue was that they were completely out of sync in their engagement. The Clockwork Hook hit Roshan, which doesn't actually latch. It doesn't do damage, doesn't affect really anything. So he really was trying to hit a hero that was right in front of Roshan, and instead hits the beast himself. And that meant that when Sharky jumped in, he jumped in alone because the Clockwork wasn't there with him, cogging them in.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we'll see Sharky as well as Winter just get destroyed by DDZ. His ultimate doing so much damage right now. The Refresher Orb is online. Even the Doom, BKB won't save you from all of that physical damage coming out of Eye of the Storm, and now it's looking pretty grim for Johnny's Revenge. It's just a lonely Shadow Shaman to defend, and he ain't got no wards, and that's usually a sad panda when it comes to Shadow Shamans. We'll see him get initiated upon. Mosin doesn't have enough mana for the ultimate. He'll actually fall to the tier 4 towers. Lance hops forward, but he may fall to Sharky as well, though. Stretch Armstrong in the tier 4s. Oh, my Lanta. Our Dire side getting overzealous. They dive the tier 4s instead of focusing the racks, and again, give Johnny's Revenge a small sign of life here as they throw him another bone.
What the hell was that? That was the silliest dives I've ever seen.
The Mosin one in particular. No mana on the Wraith King. Dive the tier 4s. No stick to get mana back, and just dies with an ultimate available. That is unfortunate. The Shackles, that one, I say, okay, maybe he thought he was out of mana, didn't have it on cooldown, but the lack of mana from Mosin, that was a pretty big oversight.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Clinks doesn't even have a Diffusal Blade, and he's trying to kill off the Ghost Scepter Shadow Shaman. Like, he can Ghost Scepter and then blink out 100% of the time. But now we see another kind of pick here. The Sunstrike after the Shackles. Fortunately, there's no way to follow through beyond that unless Winter gets in range for a big hook. So, as it is, they're just going to take the 3 easy core kills and walk away with it. I guess the Wraith King is technically more of a support than the Centaur, but when we look at the net worth, it's the other way around.
Yeah, he's doing what Wraith Kings tend to do as the game goes on, find some farm, and now blink into an Atos, the Rod of Aoi coming out here, if you will. An item that you don't see too often, and certainly not on the Wraith King, but an additional slow, having some funsies here.
He's so spiteful about not having mana before.
Yeah, so what do you do? Just pick up a couple staffs of wizardry, and there you go. That'll solve your problem.
Oh my goodness! Like he had like 200 mana and used his last 140 on the stun to try to initiate between the two tier 4s essentially, and yeah, now he certainly has enough mana to just keep spamming and spamming and spamming. But I really don't think it gives them that much more that they didn't already have. They have tons of chase potential with all these blinks, with all their little stuns and such. It's an interesting decision, but it doesn't really make too much of an impact what he goes at this stage in the game.
Clinks has a point booster right now, which is sort of fascinating as well. That is a Scotty. Okay, there you go. I did not think he had the resources just to pick up the entire thing straight up, but now Clinks is hitting pretty damn hard. What is the interaction of Scotty with Searing Arrows? Do they completely negate each other? Is it
they stack in full?
They stack in full? Okay, that's another one of those orb interactions that you wouldn't think they stack completely, but alas they do, despite what the tooltips will tell you.
Yep, and that's just one of those that has been around. Actually, I think it had to be changed at one point because they actually didn't. But
Searing Arrows changed not too long ago, also to be. How did they? I forget what was the change to Searing Arrows. That it works on structures now. Is that all it was?
I remember.
Or no, it goes through BKB.
Oh, that's it. That's right.
That was the change. Okay, that doesn't have much to do with Scotty, but. Yeah.
Well, I mean, these are two Magic Community piercing effects against targets that are trying to go for BKBs to survive. We've got Chibi and Pulse both going for BKB, and Clinks pretty much just shrugs that off entirely. Like, he's got Crit, he's got Scotty, and as you mentioned, the Searing Arrows, all of that pierces for BKB, so they don't really feel safe even when they pop that bar. We saw Doom just get Crit down for like half his health due to Lance's mad right-click damage, so...
Yeah, and plus the... Witch Doctor Ultimate physical damage does not care about BKBs all too much, but Arrow Gaming, they're grouping up. Looks like they may want to finally end this game. DDZ pops the refresher. That'll be his second Eye of the Storm, and his tower will fall pretty quickly once that backdoor protection wears off. Oh yeah, there it goes. Creeps coming into the base now, and JR, we're pressuring the top tier 2, and they do bring it down, but it costs them their Rost awards. So they won't have that for this fight. Doom hops forward, throws the ultimate onto Lance. That will isolate the Clinks, but I don't know that they've done enough follow-up damage. Winter will hookshot forward, breaks out the fight, but there's the Witch Doctor ulti only for Winter. MTR getting some vengeance there, and he will just slay down the Clockwork. Tier 3 tower has gone down, racks are exposed, and JR on the back leg here. Clinks has survived the Wrath of Doom. He presses forward, will finish off the Invoker. Chibi now the next target of choice. Sharky moving into the trees. They'll chase him down, and Chibi, he'll get isolated as well. It's just the Enchantress that will survive. She's sitting in the well, taking a bath, using the loofah, and she'll be okay. But her base, that'll be a different story. Yeah, GG, well played.
Nicely done by the side of Arrow. Lance, of course, topping out the CS chart. Even though this game has been extremely active, even though he's gotten 11 kills and 15 assists, he still finds time for the creep play from time to time, and that has gotten him and bolstered some of money that he's been able to put right into his enemy. So really nicely done as a whole from the cores, but the big MVP, especially in the first 16 minutes, that was Metelu on the Witch Doctor, really making a strong debut in these first few weeks we've seen him on the team.
Yeah, like you said, he's still tagged up loosely as a stand-in, but he has been consistently playing with Arrow, and it seems pretty likely that he'll become an official roster member. But wow, what a game to get things started here. Only 2 matches today, but can't hope for much more than that in the group stages of Starladder. That was action-packed, titillating, and fun. So we will have a short break here, guys. Coming up next is going to be First Departure versus Titans. So 2 really good games today. I'm Zyori, joined remotely by Blaze, and I think that's it, Blaze. We'll have a quick break. The next match is scheduled to start in just about 15 minutes, so shouldn't be too long. Hang around. One more match of Dota 2 coming your way here for Starladder SEA Qualifiers Day 5.